For daily ask Reddit, art teachers of Reddit, what's you draw anything you want story? I've had some really funny ones, but this one is not, and reminds me, whenever I think of it, to consider kids' circumstances. I worked in a low-income high-immigrant population school. This girl was amazing, outspoken, kind, great grasp of English. She drew a picture of her brother and her. I asked her who else was in the picture. Since there appeared to be part of a third person point, she calmly replied, "That's my brother's head. He was killed in our village, right before we went to the refugee camp." I look her up and down and say something sympathetic, masking my horror. "Yeah, they came into my village, grabbed all the boys, and were going to take them away. My brother and his friend tried to run, so they cut off his head. I was standing right there. Would you like me to draw you a picture?" I said no thank you. I asked where her little brother, also in art class, was when this happened. "Oh, we dressed him up like a girl. He makes a cute girl." I should mention before the above exchange we were talking about One Direction or something totally banal. Not my story, but seems to fit here. When I was in school, to certify to become a teacher, we had a former principal as a professor for one of our courses who was trying to illustrate how difficult it can be to manage parent complaints and how to approach those situations with administration. His example was how he had been called into a conference once with an angry mom and the elementary school art teacher. The mom was furious because the teacher had asked the children to close their eyes and draw whatever came into their imagination. His assumption was that a student had drawn something inappropriate. Nope. The mom was mad because summoning an image in one's mind was witchcraft. It's not drawing, but I gave my high school kids a poetry assignment. They could write about anything that was school appropriate and have one curse word that wasn't a slur or the F-bomb. It had to include so much figurative language, ECT. Girl turns in MS. My name is a bitch. A poem about how she's tired of writing poems and that she's annoyed with me for assigning so many. Includes all requirements. I have her a 96, a few errors, and the next poem she writes is MS. My name is a cool bitch about how she was sorry she was mean. Was substitute teaching an art class in 8th grade and drew a picture of an adult woman molesting a child. I pulled the student aside after class and found out her aunt had been molesting her for years when she was babysit or came to visit. I reported it and her aunt ended up going to prison. Kids will sometimes draw things they wouldn't normally say out loud. In early middle school, we did a project where we used cardboard draped in colorful paper mache to make a sound word, like wham or crinkle. I was really into knights at the time, so I made the word that was the sound of someone unsheathing a sword. That word was sklan. I got in trouble once for drawing a pooping butt. Little did my teacher know, but the drawing was actually a poorly drawn butterfly that ended up looking like a hairy pooping butt, and when asked why I put the details I did like the legs and antenna and proboscidea coming off the segmented body, I said I dunno, don't they all look like that? I saw one at recess and thought it was pretty and wanted to draw it. Thinking of the butterfly, of course. Nope, I ended up having to see the school counselor. High school 1977. Not a teacher. While everyone else was drawing Pink Floyd rainbows and peace signs all over everything, the biggest burnout in the class made a white metal bracelet with intricate triangular designs cut out of it. He turned it in and got a great grade for the first project he ever bothered finishing, and some well-deserved praise for his effort. Teacher handed our work back, and first thing he did was grab a pair of pliers and bent all the triangles outward, making it a thick metal spiked bracelet. I found that devilishly, disturbingly clever. I have a design your own monster Halloween lesson. Most kids draw cute ghosts or cool vampires. One 7th grader drew a sad clown hanging by a belt from a ceiling fan. He had issues. Oh man. This reminds me of a weird childhood memory. In elementary school, my mom bought this chain that hangs from the ceiling with clips on it to hand stuffed animals from. Super cool idea. until one night I saw the shadow that it cast on my wall from the street light happened to look like a fat clown had hung itself. I had to explain the next morning why my response was to rip the entire chain out of my ceiling instead of rearranging things. Didn't get in trouble though. One kid had to have a meeting with the principal, her parents and the art teacher because the art teacher decided that because this second grade girl only drew people without hands, the little girl felt powerless. All these adults question this child about the meaning of her drawings. She tells them hands are too hard to draw.